My name is Julia. I work in DE&S tax team. My father was 15 in 1939 and he matriculated from school in the June, and he immediately joined the Navy in August of 1939 when he was 15 years old. He was one of 7 children, 5 boys and 2 girls. His eldest brother was a farmer, so in a reserved occupation. His youngest brother was never old enough to serve. But the brother immediately above him in age and the brother immediately below both served in the war, and they both died in the second half of 1944. His younger brother died on the parachute jumps after Normandy in August 1944, and his other brother died flying a Mosquito over the heavy water plant in Norway in November. He never mentioned them, he never talked about them. I only knew they existed because my mum mentioned it on a couple of occasions. And then on the evening he moved in with me 6 months before he died, he handed me an envelope and said, "You need to keep this." And I said, "What is it?" And it was a printout from the Commonwealth War Graves Commission telling him where his brothers were buried. And he'd never mentioned them. I had no idea. Well, from him, I had no idea where they were buried at all. And he still wouldn't talk about them. The envelope was postmarked about 3 days before the day he moved in. So this was clearly something that he had gone out of his way as he was packing up his previous home to contact the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, ask them for a printout, and then hope that the envelope arrived before he left. I think somewhere in his head he thought, I need to tell her and she needs to know. My dad was classic. He thought he was going to live forever. But yes, he every now and again he would surprise you and he would do something that showed he wasn't going to, or he was aware of something. But no, he still wouldn't ever talk about his brothers. I know absolutely nothing about them. I've only ever seen one photograph, and that was when all 7 children are lined up in order of age, when my dad is about 10. So Anthony, who's the older one, would have been about 12, and Thomas, who's the next one down, would have been about 8. But yeah, it stunned me because it was so unexpected. Dad didn't talk about anything painful, and to have lost 2 of his brothers would have been far too painful, especially the 2 who were nearest to him in age and who I suspect he would have been at school with and played with most. And no, he would have never talked about that. I want to do as much as I can to find out a little bit. I mean, at some point I will definitely make the trip to both graves. I would like to know who these people are, because I've got other uncles who I've known well and known until they died naturally in pretty decent old age. So to have 2 who died the same age as my nephew is now, starting at university, seems stunning. Because one was 18 and one was 21, 22. I hope it was we're fighting for king and country and doing our bit, but it could just have been terror, or this is what we've got to do and we've been called up. I think remembering is essential, partly because they died so that we are free, but also because they are as much a part of my family as the ones who are still here and the ones who I've got recent photographs of and who I have memories of. And for them to disappear into smoke seems really unfair. They were as much a vital human being as any of the rest of us, and therefore they have as much right to be remembered and to be treated as independent, intelligent human beings. There is a streak of charm that ran through my father's family. My cousin had it, my grandfather had it, and apparently Anthony was the one in their generation who had it. And Thomas, he was apparently just a really decent chap. So I'd love to know what he was interested in, what were his hobbies, what did he want to achieve, had he come back?